That was the most audio we got out of Cheese was a couple of laughs.
So we've been doing pretty good with the scheduling of the show. We start on time. So I want to when we close out the show, I want her to still be with us.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Of course.
So we're gonna close out the show together.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah. Is there anything I need to know?
Not necessarily.
I'll write it on this napkin. And
Invisible ink. I got it.
We'll slide it over.
there you go.
Let you know what you need to do.
I'm ready.
With all these different things that are happening, I think last night was major for me personally because I connected those dots. I was trying to figure out how the hell can we get 5 million people tuned into this show. And, obviously all the graphics and shit still need to change and all these things are going to be updated as the show progresses. But now we have a built-in audience. And it's one thing to say, all right, we're promoting, Bushwick artists to the world. But we're also promoting the world's artists to Bushwick.
I've been promoting Bushwick to the world, so it's like
And
it's like a revolving door.
the amount of talent that we already have in the database just from the previous Reverb Nation campaigns that we've released, we got a Rolodex of at least 400 artists that at any given moment we could get them on the show.
Yeah, man, without a doubt. Even artists we've known personally, we've met personally. So I mean, there's just a multitude of talent. So I mean,
I'd like to get an update on Johnny G as well,
yeah,
like a visual update. I want to go see him. If he could just say a few words for the camera just so that we could see him.
yeah, man.
Johnny G was one of the first artists that we met doing radio when we first started doing radio.
Mm-hmm.
And what was crazy about him is he was also one of the most talented people we ever met. He's one of the best songwriters I ever met. And he got signed. He went to New Orleans. He was about to start touring the United States. He had a management company backing him, and he gets diagnosed with germ cell cancer.
Mm.
And none of us even heard what that was. Like, we had no idea what that was. So after we went to see him, we started a fundraiser, and we ended up raising some funds. And, in the grand scheme of things, it was peanuts compared to what the bills are and what the bills continue to be. But we established a relationship with him, and now his mom actually sent me a message this morning saying, happy Valentine's to all of us. So he's definitely somebody that we need to keep checking in on, man.
Yeah, there's a lot of people, man. Obviously, someone who always supported us from the beginning. We need to go see also Big Rich, man.
Big Rich,
man. Elementary school friend who's always wanted to see us win. Who I don't think anyone was more excited. I think he was probably more excited than we were for us to be for the gang to be back together. Me, you, Cheese, for everything to be copacetic and for us to be working back towards building everything we were, man. And shout out Big Rich, man. And we're gonna catch a Mets game together, together this year, brother. We have to, man.
No,
We
Rich
just
is
have to.
first grade, bro. First grade.
116, man. Just think of that.
He used to come to the house and play when we was still blowing the cartridges for Nintendo.
Those things.
Classic games that you had to leave in the freezer. What I used to do is before I went to church, I would put all my video games in the freezer.
Mm-hmm.
So by the time I get home, they were so ice that when you put the Nintendo cartridge in, it starts working, and it won't fuck up.
It's crazy. There were so many tricks we used to have.
So many
to.
hacks.
There's so many tricks we used to have to use to get games to work right. Remember my PlayStation, the first PlayStations that came out?
Flip it upside down.
Flip it upside down, on its side, on an angle, diagonally. Like we had to do so many things to get that thing to work right.
Mm-hmm.
Like it was crazy, man.
But that was also because you used to get the first generation
Get them
systems.
first generation when they come out, man. So there's always problems. But after a while, we just stopped that. But that we didn't learn our lesson until like the original market, like Xbox.
You ever been big on video games?
I always was around people that played, so I would after hours play Zelda, play
Zelda 64? You talking
64. Yeah.
the
Like
Ocarina of Time?
I was out here yelling some 64 games when y'all were talking
Oh
last
yeah,
Saturday.
we're talking.
Yeah.
You were talking about Mario Kart, right?
Yeah, Mario Kart,
Smash
Smash.
Brothers.
I play
Yep.
Super Smash Brothers. I'm not good at Mario Kart. Mario Kart's one of those games.
Mario
I just
Kart
don't play.
and the friendship.
It can, man.
Yeah,
a lot
so
of
many
games.
things. I came up, Guitar Hero era, in college. She's
Guitar
just
Hero
doing
had me
terrible
hooked.
things.
Guitar
Yeah,
Hero, man.
it's
I
just
remember
it's
Guitar
the
Hero,
reason why
man.
I know so much
You
of
could
the
end
music
up
I know.
having a guitar, like you could play Guitar Hero and end up like just having a jam session. Like there were a couple of times, man, especially when Rock Band came out, and then you had the whole
All
like
friends. Oh yeah.
and we would have just nights we would get off from work, man, and be like, "Yo, want to get some beer? Got some bud? Can play some we Rock Band in it tonight?
Yeah.
Rock Band." And
Mhm.
before you realize it, you got off of work at 2, and before you realize it, it's 7:30 in the morning. You've been playing Rock Band for 4.5 hours.
Absolutely.
Like it was
Shit is
insane.
addicting, bro.
It was ridiculous, but
Absolutely.
it was so fun.
But games used to ruin my life in logical ways. I'll give you an example.
Tell me.
Zelda, Ocarina of Time. There's a point in the
Yes.
game where the sky turns dark. Like you get to the point where you're almost gonna fight the last guy.
Mm-hmm.
So everything is dark and it's not the happy music that they played in the beginning. You hear the flutes and all that shit in the beginning. I'm playing the game.
Wow.
With that, like,
I
weird
wouldn't want to
gray
play
horse.
because it was fucking my day up.
Damn.
Remember Shenmue for Dreamcast?
Shenmue, man. I never got off the
Shenmue?
first disc.
Yeah.
Shenmue for Dreamcast.
I always wanted to end that game. I hope they re-release it. even though
This
it's
is a
never gonna
game
happen.
that forces you to live the life
Yeah,
of
of the digital
Ryu
character.
Hukaku, whatever his name was. And every morning I had to go and work the forklift at the place and then go to all these different stores and find out who killed my dad and all this shit.
That game was pretty, intense.
When the game ended, this was, they had just said that they wasn't gonna do Shenmue number 2 for Dreamcast, that it was gonna come out for Xbox. I didn't have an Xbox, so when Shenmue ended for Dreamcast, I cried, bro.
Damn.
I was fucking pissed because it ended like on a to be continued. Like it was almost he's leaving for China because he's
Yeah.
figuring out
He's
who
still-
the guy is.
yeah.
And I'm
Yeah.
like, yo,
It's like
I just
one of the
invested 3 months
cliffhangers.
into this shit. And
It's one of the pitfalls
ain't
of
coming
gaming,
back.
bro.
Yeah,
I've been
that's what
waiting for
happens.
part 2 to a game. Me and Drew played a lot. Dead Island. I'm waiting for Dead Island 2 now since about 2014. It's supposed to come out. It's now 2018, and it still just keeps saying in development, like it's
Hey,
been
dog.
delayed and pushed, and it's gone between so many development teams. I don't think I'm ever gonna see it, but I'm holding out hope, man.
The whole
It's kind of like
storyline's
Bad
different
Boys
already.
3.
once these new
That's
creative
coming too.
teams,
Yeah, it's supposed to be coming for a while, but Will Smith made Bright. Martin's supposed to be starting the new Martin reboot. I don't know what they're gonna do to us. I think we're gonna hear another push. Michael Bay is gonna end up making another Transformers
Nah, they're
or
gonna do it.
something.
They're gonna do it.
I
Come on, don't
hope
put
they
that
do.
energy out
Ain't
there.
gonna be
They're
I
gonna
hope
do
they
it.
do.
They're gonna do it.
I'm still hoping for it. I'm just pretty sure there's gonna be another delay, but I'm hoping for it. I'm waiting for it.
were you hooked
It's
on
gonna
GTA when it was still overhead view?
Without a doubt.
Yes.
Although part 1 more than part 2, I wasn't a big fan of part 2. Part 2 was okay compared to part. I like part 1 more. I think they obviously revolutionized the game, when they came out with 3. I remember that my brother brought that, and I remember reading about it in a magazine. Then him being like, "Yo, let me come out here." Like I was home, and I was like, "Nah, I'm playing the game." He's like, "Yo, but I got Grand Theft Auto." I was like, "I want to play that. That's old. The new one comes out soon." He's like, "Nah, I got 3." I was like, "Give me that, man." Give me that, man. What you standing here talking in riddles for, man? Let's do this.
That game was so bad that they gave speeches about it in church. They were telling
For real?
parents,
Red light
they were
district.
telling parents that you could not let your kid have this
I
video
remember-
game.
Nah, I'll give
And they
you
only
one.
spoke about the bad parts.
Yeah,
It's like not everybody wants to take a hooker under the fucking and
but everybody
slaughter
did
her.
it
Everyone did it though.
It's like shit.
and then got their money back.
Got their money back. Yeah. Everyone got, yeah, I'm gonna do this, and then I'm gonna get my ducats back. Yeah, you ain't keeping that bread. But
what people didn't know is that you can fly the dodo plane in part 3.
yeah, if you know how to fly it, that's like a skill.
You
You
can
have to
fly
get
the
to learn.
plane.
Playing
You
on
gotta
the
I
water.
could never like it's hard to do. Like I could never do it. You know what's crazy though? I remember when me and Drew we had saved up enough money and we were gonna go half and split a used copy of Grand Theft Auto 1 on PlayStation. And when we went to Funko Land, the guy wouldn't sell it to us. Yeah,
Damn.
before
Funko
it was
Land.
even EB Games, bro. Not even GameStop. Before EB Games, but while it was still Funko Land, we went to go buy it. And the dude wouldn't sell it to us. He was like, "Nah, you guys, it's a mature-based game." He was like, "We didn't know. We still tried. We were like, we were still in junior high school. I think I was in 7th grade. He was in 8th. Or I was in 7th. He was in 8th. And he was like, "Damn." So we were like, "How we gonna get it?" So we told my mom we want the game, but dude wouldn't sell it to us. And we didn't really tell her the whole truth. She was like, "All right,
Enough.
I'm going to Ridgewood, so I'll walk the thing by for you guys." When we went, this hater tells my mom it's a mature rated game, and like all the reasons like we shouldn't play it. And it's like, yo, she's getting it for us anyway. Nothing you say is gonna change this. Like she's still like got the game for us. And she's like, they're not dummies. Like they know better. They know this isn't real. They know it's a game. Like they can play a video game like violence. They're not gonna go out here carjacking, murdering people, and doing all this, running from the cops, running people over. And it's like, but dude really, like went out of his way and broke down everything. That's like, yo, dude, don't you want to make a sale?
He might have been at the church.
At this point in my life, like I'm just thinking, like, what type of hater shit was going through your head that day, bro? You didn't want kids to enjoy themselves.
No, that's how you know that job is not commission based. Because if his paycheck was dependent on that sale,
on that sale,
he would have sold her
like,
3
what?
copies.
Like he was, man, like, dude, you really want to steal our joy? With just a couple of teenage kids looking, do something creative.
We want to hurt people, but digitally.
We want to enjoy ourselves. We want to be mischievous in the game instead of real life.
There was games previous to that though that they had that same kind of feel.
I remember my dad.
River City Ransom.
River City Ransom.
Yeah, that was like.
I remember that.
Y'all ever played Courier Crisis?
Yeah, I played Courier Crisis. I love
Courier Crisis. Where you gotta flip the.
Yeah. Me and Drew used to go ham on that Skid Row when you got the Skid Row.
Yeah.
My dad, when the original Resident Evil came out, here's another one. My dad rented, when the original Resident Evil came out, he rented it from Blockbuster.
I used to hate renting games from Blockbuster.
Renting games
so
from
much
Blockbuster.
Pressure, so much
I
pressure.
rented,
so
I used
much
to rent
money
games
and
from,
What the fuck?
I used to rent games from Hollywood Video. And just
Damn,
keep,
that's another one.
I would keep the late fees going, bro. And be like, yeah. I'll hit you on the late fees next time. Rent something else, just keep it going. Like, and then when they closed, it was like, shit. That's the one who got the late fees.
Yes, those late fees would have saved the business.
Yeah, they might have, man.
You closed them down.
I remember one time they said I didn't return a game. I'm like, dude, like I brought that back on time because it sucked. Like that was when I actually did return on time. Like I was like, I returned that shit. Like
before there was Hollywood Video or Blockbuster, there was that small spot across the street from the crib where we used to get the old wrestling tapes.
Oh man,
it's $2 a night.
Where the
you had to walk through a porno section to get to the wrestling.
Where
section.
they have the
I'm talking about like Yokozuna versus Bret Hart.
And it's like whoever's focused on wrestling will definitely also want.
I want to see those titties. I want to see
old
Bret.
video store. There was one copy of the VHS where somebody else had the VHS. You guys keep going to see if they had it back. Yo, they bring it back yet? They bring it back yet?
They only had one copy of everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you missed it, like you have to wait till whoever
Talking
had
about
it returned it.
WrestleMania 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah, man. Wow.
Throwback shit. Watching
that's-
Andre the Giant being carried out to the ring in a smaller ring.
That's
And
wild.
you could tell when people were using the tapes for the wrong parts because whenever we would rent a movie that had nudity in it, the shit would get all fucked up like they kept it on pause for too long.
Yeah, I never knew what that was, but you now think
I
about
know
it,
what it
see the
was because I used to
tracking.
cause that shit. I remember somebody told me that there was a nude scene and there's something about Mary and they didn't tell me it was the old lady.
Ah, man.
So I rented this shit thinking that everything was going to be good, but it wasn't good.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
So let's remind the people where they can follow you.
You can follow me personally at Bree_bossy. That's on Instagram. That's also the only social media I'm on. And then the Slap Collective, again, is theslapcollective.org. But just the Slap Collective on Instagram.
And remember, all these businesses out here, you can donate time, space, money, energy, love, life, coffee. It's all write-offs.
All
Yes.
of it.
Yeah.
Write-offs. I didn't
Yes,
know that,
yes,
man.
yes.
So reach out and help a great nonprofit out.
Where
So-
can they follow you, bro?
You can follow me at Mr_Zoe Taylor. That is at Mr_Zoe Taylor. Once again.
I'm going to laugh every time you say it, bro.
Yeah.
You're getting the fluidity down, but...
Yeah.
Of course, you can follow me at I'm King Roach. You can follow the Button Roach Show at Button Roach Show,
Yes,
of course.
at Button Road Show. On,
If you see lightning,
Instagram.
that's cheese.
Yeah, you see any
Just
lightning
remember
emblems, any lightning emoticons, emojis. That's all. That's cheese.
And
That's
with
the cheese signature.
the cheese, like the bat signal. We need to make one of those with the lightning bolt. We'll be back tomorrow, same time,
Same place.
different guest.
Yes. Good morning.
Tomorrow we
Bushwick.
got
We'll see you tomorrow.
We
have the well-dressed villains.
Well-Dressed
We have
Villains
Ra
tomorrow.
and Jay Vargas of the well-dressed villains. So
Thank you guys for tuning into this episode of Good Morning Bushwick. We love you guys. Have a great morning.
yes.
The realness, realness. Got you stuck off the realness.